The following program is meant for mature audiences only.
Watch your fucking kids!
You have been warned.
Welcome back to Beards on Gaming. How are you today, Mark?
I don't know, David. Why don't you tell me?
Welcome to week whatever the fuck of the pandemic, everyone.
Welcome to week. We still don't have a lot of shit to talk about.
Maybe that might change. I don't know. Things are coming
I don't
out.
know. There is some stuff that we want to play that we just don't want to talk about quite yet.
I was hoping that I'd have Pokemon at least to talk about, but I'm pretty bored with that.
But I guess eat your dick.
So today, since it's season 3, episode 1, and episode 50 of total episodes of Beards on Gaming,
I can't believe it.
we thought we'd, since we love Final Fantasy XIV so much, it's been such a big part of the show, we thought we'd do a top 5 and bottom 5 heroes and villains list.
So if you guys are still listening to us for whatever reason and don't care about FF14 or don't care about it even this much, goodbye.
Yeah, it's gonna be all FF15 all the time. And sorry,
all FF15, huh?
Yeah, 14. Excuse me.
Yeah. Mm.
And for those
And you call yourself a true fan.
Yeah, right. For those of you that haven't played 14 or playing through 14 right now, spoiler alert.
Supposedly.
Super spoiler alert.
For, at the very least, the Shadowbringers storyline.
I mean,
Which is basically updated.
If a character is mentioned and you haven't heard of them, it's going to be a spoiler for you. All the way up to Shadowbringers, yeah. So, like, everything's going to be a spoiler for you.
So, shut off the cast when you hear it, if you haven't done so already.
Oh, good. Alright, we all caught up?
I am. Okay. Does everyone have a beverage? Sit in, you little kitties. It's going to be a time.
I don't have a beverage. I drank mine.
Oh.
Alright, let's get this started. Number 5 for worst heroes is Moonbrita.
Moenberta, I thought it was, but okay.
I could have sworn it was Moonbrita.
Well, neither of us are going to be terribly, attentive to this to look up a video of someone saying the name.
Let's call her Mooney.
No.
Let's call her Wasted Potential.
Okay. And that's kind of, and at very least, there is at least one, maybe two people on this list that it's not that there's anything intrinsically wrong with this person, it's that they're gone before they did anything. Again, spoiler alert.
Yeah, she's around for the patch content of A Realm Reborn.
That must be, like, just hearing it said in that context, she was around for a patch.
Maybe two? Maybe two.
Woo. Maybe, but still, geez.
But, she seemed like an interesting character when she first showed up. She looks like, unlike anything... Hello, keyboard.
I'm sorry. I will try and stop.
She looks like, she doesn't look like any of the other heroes, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because all the heroes look like they're from a fucking fashion magazine, and she shows up just being a normal Jane Doe. I
wouldn't say that. She's got a bit of fashion to her. But my main thing is that every single one of the, with the exception of Thancred, every single one of the allied heroes is a caster or scholar or has some sort of passive thing in effect that expects the main character to be the martial type. And she's the only one that just comes out brandishing a goddamn axe.
Not only is she a, would it be Marauder?
I think
is she a Marauder, she's a fucking scientist.
Yeah, and I always love that, and I always love that combination.
Oh.
And that is, so it's so unfortunate that she is just gone because what I can only assume is just people didn't find her that interesting.
I guess
they just didn't, or they found they just didn't want to do anything with her.
I guess she fulfilled her purpose. Honestly, I think Menphilia should have died instead.
Oof, we'll get to that.
But spoilers, Mark. Spoilers.
Spoilers for our own list.
No, but, like, I have nothing bad to say about this character, which makes it so sad that she made this list. It's just the fact that she's not around much.
Well, nothing to say about her besides that she's not around. Yeah, that's about it.
She shows up, she does some pretty great things with the time she's there. She finds out how to kill Asians, and then she sacrifices herself to make sure it happens.
Pretty dang sick.
But yeah, I mean, Moon Burrito, woohoo, but sorry, you're number 5 on the worst heroes list.
Because you didn't do anything.
Oh, goddamn. I feel bad.
Well, don't.
Moving on to best heroes, we have number 5, the X-Art. And super spoiler alert if you haven't played Shadowbringers yet.
It's Grahatia.
It's Grahatia, which unfortunately...
And do you remember who that is? No, you only came in at Heavensward or Stormblood? Well, he's important, trust me.
Now, I had told you when you started Shadowbringers, you need to finish Crystal Tower.
Yeah, and it was very much worth it.
Yeah, you would have no fucking clue who the hell Grahatia was at the end. The ending makes zero sense if you haven't played Crystal Tower.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh my god, what the fuck were they thinking? And now they're making Crystal Tower mandatory. Now they're doing it.
Which, I'm torn between... Yeah, I'm torn between that I don't want anything that's kind of to the side to be mandatory, and I don't want... But at the same time, this isn't really to the side. It gives a lot of context to the actual story. It was very much easy for me to have gone to the side, never done this quest, never met this character, and all of a sudden it's a big spoiler that it's him. And it's like, who? And it's like, I'm just imagining the big scene of that hood blowing off of him, and you see who he is for the first time. And like, yeah, I had predicted who it was beforehand, because I played that quest line, and it was super obvious. But like, I'm just imagining that one moment, it's just like, oh, it's a cat boy. Okay. Who is this?
Oh, God. And you know what else is becoming mandatory now?
Mm-hmm.
The Chocobo unlocked missions.
I'm less okay with this.
But for some reason, they are going to be made mandatory during this patch.
Hmm?
So I don't know if our Chocobo is going to come into play during this patch, or if it's because of flying that the Chocobo is mandatory.
I would assume it's the whole flying thing, but also maybe they're going to do a thing like... I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure.
All right, so back to Grahatia.
No. No, go ahead. Don't be an asshole.
He was kind of a nothing character in the Crystal Tower story. He was just kind of there.
Yeah, he's a very basic, I gotta be the cool dude story.
But
that we see so often.
Shadowbringers, he kind of comes off as someone that's going to turn out to be a villain the entire time.
Yeah, almost. It gets close.
Yeah, and
then they tell him to shut up.
Like, yeah. His story is actually pretty neat. His history is pretty neat. His connection to you is awesome. And you just really feel for the guy, like the incredible fucking loneliness he must experience every day.
Indeed, Dave. Very shippable. Anyway. No, yeah, I agree. He is a very fun character to have around.
I'm going to be bummed
fun is the wrong word, but definitely a positive character to have around.
I'm hoping his earlier self wakes up so he can stay in the story, because it's going to be a bummer not to have him around anymore.
Yeah.
He's very neat. It's kind of hard to explain. He has a sense of vulnerability, but kind of kick-ass to his leadership and nature.
It's almost like we got to move on, and it would take, who we're talking about if you played the story. If you haven't, it would take way too long to explain.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
play Shadowbringers. Holy fuck!
Why are you here?
Which brings us to our waste of space. I would call him worst villains. Number 5, La Habrea.
It's just kind of nothing to do with him. You were more interesting. You were more interesting when you were possessing someone else, because some of their personality kind of rubbed off on you.
Yeah, I was only involved because I liked the character Thancred,
Yeah.
Not because you're interesting. You're just generic bad guy. And
Right.
he loses all of his menacing in Heavensward.
Mm-hmm.
Not even just that.
He takes a sideline. He's an okay boss fight, and then he's dwarfed. What he is?
Oh no, his boss fight sucks. You just go slap him a few times and it's over. He's a horrible final boss.
Well, thank God he's not the final boss.
He is.
He's not the final boss of Heavensward? No, he's not.
No. Of Realm Reborn. He is the pathetic final boss of Realm Reborn.
Oh, I didn't even mean that boss fight. I meant him as, like, the true Ascian at the end of Heavensward.
Oh, that was neat, but that wasn't just him either.
Sure. But anyway, well, it was kind of him because we didn't know who the other person was, really. So it was basically him.
So in a Realm Reborn patch content, you find out he's not only the only Ascian, but he's not even the Ascian in charge.
So he was mid-boss.
Yeah, fucking Elidibus is in charge. He's basically nothing, and he gets basically knocked to the side in Heavensward as a joke character and gets unceremoniously, like, knocked off the story.
He is very much, at the very end of Heavensward, he is dwarfed by the actual boss that we built up, who, you know what, I'll actually also put him kind of closer to an honorable mention for our best villains list.
Yeah, he's pretty close.
Not quite enough, but he's solid. He's a solid character to have around.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I didn't even think of him because he honestly, he doesn't measure up much compared to his Heavensward, and they aren't around him as much for me to really care.
The Heavensward are forever tainted to me for one reason, but I'll get into that later.
But yeah, La Habrea, pretty shit villain.
Yep, not fun.
On to number 5, best villain.
Mm-hmm.
Can you pronounce that?
Number 5, best villain, you said. Hold on.
Glad you're so invested.
Well, because I thought you had to you didn't adjust it at all, so I pronounced it as Grinwat.
Grinwat. Let's go Grinwat.
Yeah. We'll go with what I said? Yes. Okay. Thank you, David.
Grinwat starts off as a basically nothing villain, a joke villain in a patch content.
Yeah, he is... The trope that they use is called the Goldfish Poop Gang. And it specifically refers to characters that are like Team Rocket from the Pokemon anime. They exist to come in, do something minorly annoying, and then get destroyed, but only just enough that they can either come back next week or are only laid up for one more week, and then they can come and mildly annoy you again.
Oh my god! Yeah.
So he is that, but he is Team Rocket. If the Warrior of Light is Ash, if Team Rocket had legions of people to send to die every time they tried to attack, and if Team Rocket had a mental breakdown and turned themselves into some kind of cornet berserker in an effort to kill Ash.
Oh my god, yeah. So, I don't think there's a single person that played through that dungeon where he's promised
who was
power.
Not like, holy shit.
Yeah, he's promised power to finally be able to destroy the Warrior of Light, and he says yes. And the next time you see him, he isn't even human anymore.
He becomes what you call, what is it called? Oh, for fuck's sake.
Doom Guy?
Not Doom Guy, he's close. He's really close.
Rip and tear!
He's called the Hyper-Tuned, which is effectively whatever Agarlian does to just really fuck with someone's internal... Like, they hook them up to a bunch of machinery, jack up and pump them full of drugs and chemicals and the like, and just send them out to wreck shit with the understanding that they're just going to die and cause a bunch of destruction in the meantime.
I love looking up discussions about this guy because, everyone's just like, haha, it's this guy. And then they see that dungeon where he comes out and they're like, oh my god, fucking god, what the hell?
And there's nothing in that final fight. Nothing about him is meant to be amusing outside of maybe his just mad repetition of just die, die, die.
Yeah, or his Doom quote,
which is rip and tear.
Rip and tear.
No, yeah, or the real chilling one is we go together, and
go together.
Yeah, it's just like, yep, I'm dead, but I'm taking you with me. I've gotten so obsessed with this that you're coming with me.
Oh my
And
god.
it's the kind of mentality you normally see a hero or an ally go for. But no, purely monstrous.
Just nothing to fucking say in that moment. For that moment alone, it's just chilling to see a character you've come to know just...
It it would be a goddamn horrifying Pokemon episode to just have the Team Rocket just that makes, I guess this is their alignment all along, but it's like, Jesus, I didn't expect them to actually be effective.
Imagine if they genetically experiment on Meowth and becomes out as a giant hulking freak of nature.
Jesus Christ.
Oh. Moving on to our worst hero, number 4. Gaia.
Did we go through the list? Oh yeah, we did go through the list.
Yep.
I don't have a hell of a lot to say about this one since I haven't done the dungeon as much. I've seen a bit of her, and I don't have enough feeling about it.
I don't even... I know this is a trope, but I don't know what the trope would be called, but it's just another edgy, the world means nothing, you mean nothing, everything means nothing.
Nihilist?
I don't know. It's just...
That's what you're describing, at least.
This isn't how people act. At least I don't think this is how people act. It's... I don't know how to explain it. I just hate this fucking character.
I mean, that's kind of fine. It's just if they're on screen and they annoy you.
Even her turn, I don't like. Because it comes up so sudden. Like, I want to live! I want to eat biscuits with you! I want to experience life! And I'm like, shut the fuck up! Oh, I hate this character. You're just forced to sit through this character if you want to play the new content and get the new gear. And so much work and effort has been put into making her look unique. And I just hate every word that oozes out of her mouth.
Alrighty. I got nothing.
I mean, yeah, she
looked like she was designed by Nomura.
She was.
And apparently the only other thing I know about her is that in basically everything she uses a giant ass hammer, which is probably some other kind of anime trope, the willowy anime girl using a giant ass fucking hammer. But apparently it was only afterwards, after he had already designed the character around having a hammer, that he needed to be told, Nomura, there's no class in game that actually uses a hammer. And that might just add to her.
She has zero personality, and I hate that. I hate personality based on edge.
Fair enough.
It might just be personally me, but I hate her. That's why I love Cloud in the new FF7 so much. He actually has a personality. He's not every other Cloud that's ever been written before, where his personality is loner edgelord.
To be fair, well, I mean, the edgelord personality that Cloud has gotten, I think I've mentioned this before, is more birthed out of things like Advent Children and things and other media ignoring his whole character arc and just making him the edgy guy.
Maybe.
But in the original game and in the remake, he has a lot more fleshed out personality.
He wasn't like this in the original.
Fair enough.
I promise you that.
It's been a bit. We're not talking about that.
Yeah. That was worst heroes. Moving on to best heroes, number 4.
Woo!
Alize.
Yeah, super fun. This is how you do a, how do I describe this? A brash, fuck everyone else, I just have to act and move right now character.
Yeah.
Because it comes back to bite her as much as it helps her.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Someone actually wrote a character without having to force her to be a strong female character.
She's just a character.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of works. And there's little else to say other than you just did it so it works, and this character has enough strengths to make them likable and enough flaws to make them tolerable.
She's, like you said, very brash, very we need to do this now, and it hurts her as much as it helps her in every situation.
Which is meant to portray her as, it's the whole dichotomous twin thing. She's the red in both emotionally and aesthetically to her blue brother, but both of them have moments of success and failure to balance out that neither one is right or wrong all the time.
Yeah,
and that's important for both of them.
And I do also like that she sees she has needs to grow and accepts her faults. And she's just a really, like, neat character. I enjoy it.
She is good.
Moving on to Worst Villains, number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yotsuyu and Fordola.
Who occupy the same slot by being both an Asian and a Caucasian version of each other.
You ever seen that Office meme where it shows 2 pictures next to each other and it says they're the same picture?
Yes, I have seen that. Yes, I have seen this meme. But Dave, tell me how this relates to them.
They're both women that were victims of circumstance. What?
Fascinating.
Yeah, they were victims of circumstance with the Garleans moving into their home countries. They were treated like shit by their own people, grew up to resent their own people, worked their way up to the top through Garlemald to survive, and
no one seems to take much issue with them trying to redeem themselves, even though they kind of don't deserve it.
Alright, so the reason why I prefer Fordola over Suyu, I'm just going to say Suyu from now on.
Okay, let me clarify this. When you say prefer, find more tolerable?
I don't even want to say character. The reason why I prefer Fordola's story over Suyu's story is the fact that it's an actual story that doesn't fucking try to hide behind tropey bullshit.
Oh.
So Suyu's story is all about, oh, she has amnesia. She's not the same person. Of course we're going to have to learn to forgive her for what she did. Fordola, no one fucking forgives her. She doesn't forgive herself. No one really moves on from the fact of what she did.
I think the game wants us to forgive Fordola, and for that, it's all the more frustrating to me.
No, I wouldn't even say that. Like, I urge you to go through and play it again, because I played it through twice, and the second time I found it much more tolerable, because no one really likes her afterwards. They just accept that she's trying to do the right thing, but no one forgives her. And I think that is a much better story than, oh, she had amnesia. Because that's as far as that fucking story goes.
So I'm still agreeing that these are both level 4 on the worst villains list,
but
I would agree that I prefer Yotsuyu a bit more, just because the whole amnesia storyline is more portrayed as like, is justice even worth it anymore? What's the point if a person who did a bad thing doesn't even remember that they did that, genuinely doesn't remember that they did that bad thing? What's the point of punishing them? It's not like they're going to learn their lesson. There's no lesson to be learned. And the second thing, and this is kind of important, is that she does remember, and she fucking dies.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
She is gone, and she did like one cool thing before she died, which has at least some sort of like posthumous redemption slightly. I kind of want Fordola to die. Like if she had died in that fight, that you know what I'm talking about. If she had died in that fight, she'd be way more favorable to me.
Here's the thing about this,
and
okay, finish up.
I'm sorry. I have this one, and this kind of does relate. I think we have at least 1 or 2 other people on this list that have this slight trope. Japan and certain writers in particular, looking at you, writer of Naruto, have a big problem with villains not getting enough comeuppance. They're just friends now.
That's very true.
Yes.
I do like the idea of Orochimaru being too useful to kill, though.
But no one ever says that, and I don't think Orochimaru ever even says sorry.
No, he doesn't.
The word never escapes his mouth.
He just sees Naruto and Sasuke having children and says, "Oh, that must be fun," and creates his own.
No, it's just Ninja Hitler is just around, and people are like, I guess he's cool.
All right, so here's the thing.
I'm not talking about Orochimaru.
Going back to Suyu.
I'm talking about Sasuke.
Going back to Suyu and Fordola.
No, we're talking about Naruto now. No, I need to get this off my chest.
About 5 years ago, I would have agreed with you completely. But then I read a book that completely changed my opinion on murderers. Like, horrible crime committers on death row and shit.
Okay.
Yeah, right. It was a weird... It's a weird book for it to come from. It's part of the Wizard 2.0 series, which again, really weird series for it to come from. But if the people you wronged can't forgive you, then what's the point of trying? What's the point of trying anymore? You move the fuck on. If you forgive yourself and you feel like you've done enough to forgive yourself for the horrible things you've done, there's no point of hurting yourself anymore. You could go through years of torture and it could mean nothing to anyone. If you want a person to redeem themselves, you have to get them a point where they can redeem themselves. Otherwise, you might as well kill them. You know?
But I would say may as well kill them.
Yeah, I understand that, but they're keeping her alive, they're keeping her working for them, so there has to be a point where they say, okay, we forgive you. Otherwise, there's no point in keeping them alive. That's the whole thing.
Again.
Yeah. That's the way that's the way I feel about it.
It just doesn't seem like there's it may just be on me, but it just seems like her walking away from that encounter in any capacity, it just doesn't sit with me. It just doesn't feel like there's any actual punishment happening.
It's a real hard thing to face, the fact that, this person did this horrible shit and you want to fucking kill her, but at the same time, she's doing everything she can to help you. And you're just... It's a hard story to look at, and that's why I enjoy it much more than Tsuyu's. That's my point.
But... still number 4 on worst villains, because holy shit,
why they're the same fucking person, and it's back to back constantly, and I hate that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the reason why it's in that spot, because it's the same fucking story twice.
And I also don't know how to tell you this. Bad shit happening to you may give better perspective on things. It doesn't excuse you doing bad shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So no redemption.
Speaking of which,
no redemption for you.
Moving on to number 4 best villain, someone else from Garlemald, Gaius.
Who is may as well not be on this villains list at this point.
Who? Wait, what?
I said who may as well not be on this villains list at this point.
Why not?
Because he's not a villain anymore.
Oh yeah, but he was at one point.
No, I know, and that's why I'm not making a big deal out of this. I'm just pointing out.
And still might be in the future. He's really not a hero. To be fair, if that changed tomorrow, that would be a pretty solid twist. I don't know
as soon as he's done with us.
It's weird because he kind of starts off as generic, but the more and more he's in the story, the more and more interesting he becomes.
Mm-hmm.
Even at the beginning, I was agreeing with his points, just not the way he went about them.
Yes, yeah. It's just like, no. I entirely agree with that assertion.
He sees the primals as this huge threat, and he sees suppression as a way to deal with it. And I'm like, yes, but no.
But yes, but no. But yes, but no.
Even though Garlemald's secret intention of being built in the first place was a way to ensue chaos in the regions and ensure that primals get summoned, he has totally bought into, we are good, this is for the greater good, we need to stop the primals from being summoned, we need to suppress the lands in every way possible. He believes that wholeheartedly.
Yes.
He believes that the strong must rule over the weak.
Or otherwise everyone's dead. Yeah,
exactly. He is the perfect soldier for Garlemald.
Yes.
But once he realizes that he was being, not only him, but the country has been manipulated, by Asians, he's
like, boy, this sucks. But just because the things that I learned and the things that I idealized were found on a lie, doesn't mean that I don't idealize those things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
that's the point.
As you move on, you found out that he not only was the perfect soldier for Garlemald, he heavily supported an orphanage. Heavily supported the Garlemald orphanage.
It's like, oh.
To the point where dude? Any orphans he found after battles, he would bring to this orphanage so they had a chance at life.
He's a good boy. He's just idealistic and super wrong.
Until you find out that the orphans that he brought back idolized him so much that they restarted what's the machine that he rides? It's not Omega. It's
Ultima weapon.
Ultima. They restock the Ultima project and make themselves the pilots and endanger their lives in doing so. So now
so it's Gundam.
Yeah, so now he has to witness his own quote-unquote children not only follow in the same mistakes that he followed in, but die for them.
Yay!
And I'm like, holy fuck.
This is not a good time. This is not a good happy day.
And I'm like, oh jeez. And even Sid goes up and starts busting on him. And he has nothing to say. And then you tell Sid what happened afterwards. He's like, oh yeah. Oh shit. I guess maybe I shouldn't have said that.
And you're like, no, Sid, I need you to go back and tell him more.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I love it. I really enjoyed Gaius as a character. He is honestly one of the best villains in Final Fantasy.
Which is why he's only number 4 on our list.
There is a reason why he's only number 4 on our list. Final Fantasy XIV, for having this many villains, have had great villains.
We have some good boys.
And I would say, like, up until the recent expansion, he would be number 2 on my list, and that's saying something about him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And unfortunately, we have to drop back down to worst heroes.
Oh, goody.
Number 3, Menphilia.
Just such nothing. There is nothing here.
God, I hate her.
There is nothing to work with.
Can you come back to the Waking Sands for me?
I'm sorry? Oh, yes.
I want you to know... Alright, so, you know how she always tells you to go back to the Waking Sands constantly, the one place without a fucking aetheryte crystal?
Yeah, you know that thing that they actually created a reason for why? And I'm like, well, thank you. I also hate you.
Alright, so, you know when she tells you to meet up with her to talk to Reen?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where she makes you go in comparison to the first and the source?
Where? Is it the goddamn fucking Waking Sands? Is it all the way goddamn out there past 2 separate instances and past a minecart?
If you were to retrace your steps and like visual locations, it would be the exact entrance to the Waking fucking Sands.
I don't know of any other game or company that would put in an Easter egg like that purely with the understanding that it would infuriate people.
Not only that, the amount of shit you had to go through just to get to that one spot of getting the minecart running again. Oh my god, fuck you, Menphilia. I hate you.
You know what? The first can fucking die.
Oh,
the first will be consumed by light. I don't care. I don't care anymore.
Oh my god, she does nothing. She gets people killed for her own incompetence. She dies fucking A. The best thing she ever did was die. I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry.
It's the best thing she ever did. It's the only useful thing she ever did. How about that? I'll add that onto the fucking fire.
Oof.
Oh, God, I hate you, Menphilia.
Anyways,
on to number 3 for best heroes. Raubahn.
This is a roller coaster.
Oh yeah, Raubahn, number 3 of best heroes. I really like Raubahn.
Yeah, Raubahn is super cool.
Solid character, solid backstory, really great fighter. In fact, I didn't think I'd enjoy the weird, like, little tournament arc they had in Heavensward patch until Raubahn showed up and that fight started.
Yes.
That was... I just think back of all the amazing Raubahn moments, like the Raubahn moment of him like freaking out during the I'm gonna call it the Red Wedding, and losing his fucking arm when you have to fight him in the fucking tourney, when he's leading his army, not Lisa's army, to fucking victory and Stormblood.
Yes.
When he decides to stay behind and help his country, when he's reliving in the past. Oh, God, so many fucking great Raubahn moments.
Yes.
He's honestly the only city leader that I actually respect.
Wow, that's hefty.
I know one of them is unsurprising.
No, yeah.
I actually considered what the fuck's her face for a horny chick.
Okay.
What is her name?
I'm not telling you.
Okay, I actually considered her for worst heroes, but she's literally done nothing.
Wow, okay, jeez.
Rob Bonasate a solid part of the story until his ending in Stormblood, and I just really enjoy this character.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to say?
There's a lot to say about him. He is a rock in the ocean of that is multiple bad heroes and bad villains.
Oh, but yeah, I'm glad he got a happy ending. I hope they don't.
I hope they don't fuck him.
Yeah, that would be bad. Number 3 on worst villains. This is actually one of them that you inserted. Pronounce that for me.
You would have inserted him yourself if you remembered him. Asahi
Yeah, probably
is how I'm pronouncing it.
Asahi. Kind of a shit stain on the story, I'd say.
So Yotsuyu's brother, who doesn't get a redemptive arc because he's such a shit and has none of actual Yotsuyu's Freudian excuses.
Yeah, as much as I hate Yosoyu, as much as I don't really give her any excuses for what she's done,
This
I
guy's
did
worst.
really enjoy her killing him. Yeah, I love how the warrior light just kind of stands there during their entire dying fight and doing jack shit.
He doesn't even get the dignity, quote unquote, of a proper boss fight. He is purely there to be a hateful little shit.
Yeah, he just shows up to make like the whole war happen, I'd say.
Pretty much, he's there to just cause a bunch of misery as he sees fit. There's no reason behind it. He doesn't feel like there's just no reasoning behind any of his actual actions. There's just actual hate.
He's just a little shit that just makes life miserable. There's no meaning behind any of it. He has no personality, he has no character. He's just mean. That's all he is.
Yes.
I don't get it. But anyway,
because we needed someone to not have any sort of
redeeming qualities.
Pretty much.
Oh god, his corpse might still be alive, but we'll see.
Let's hope. I want to kill him again.
We never did.
No, someone else did.
Your face, even your very face irritates me, Koopa. Moving on to number 2 worst heroes. Luis!
No, wait, what?
Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped.
Yeah, you skipped best villains, actual good villains.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll get back to Lise later. We'll shit on her plenty, don't worry.
I'm pretty sure anyone who's heard that either assumed that was coming or wondered why she wasn't higher.
Okay,
anyway.
Number 3 best villains. 4-3.
Pure Shadowbringers, who only really becomes a good villain after he's already dead, in a way.
I would disagree. I'd say he's a pretty solid villain all the way through.
Well, a villain I only really appreciated after he was dead.
Oh, okay.
So let's go. So Vothri as the head of everything in fucking Eulamore. And
Here's
you
the
find
thing.
out
He has to carry most of the villain story by himself because Emmett Sulk
can't be around.
Not only can he not be around, he doesn't play villain until the end.
Yeah.
So Vothri has to carry the story by himself, and I think he does a pretty fucking great job.
He has a very it's so Freudian Freudian excuses. I've been mentioning this a bunch. For anyone who doesn't know what that means, just I had bad shit or weird shit happen to me as a kid. That's why I'm so messed up in my heady head. And a lot of times, it like with Yotsuyu, it just serves like, okay, I get it, but you're still a shitbag, and that doesn't excuse everything you've done. But in Vothri's case, it's not that bad things happen to him; it's that he was raised to believe that he is literally without sin.
Yes, he is innocent.
The term is tautological Templar.
Okay.
And it's just I I am a good person. I am good. No matter what I do, it's good because I am good. I can never do evil.
Let me...
No matter my actions that are taken, they are just because I am a good person. I know this. And so he is raised... Go ahead.
I want you to... So the word first doesn't go by our rules of our world, obviously. Volthree in this world would be considered the hero. It's such a demented and flipped world for all intents and purposes that Volthree is viewed as a hero. He is everything we aren't. He is everything that this world looks up to. He is utterly disgusting to us. He is, in this topsy-turvy world, he is everything we're not.
I'm not even sure if that's the case. It's less more people just tolerate him because he's the guy with the things.
That's the way I view it. I view that everyone, hypnotized or not, wants to get where he is, wants to be accepted by him.
People want to be who he is and where he is because he has the things and he can stop the things that normally kill people. It's not that people would agree with his actual methods, it's just that he exists and he is safe and wealthy.
I just think he's a very neat villain.
I do too, but it's solely because so what is his Sin Eater name when he finally does the transformation? What is it called?
Innocence.
Exactly. And that's sort of the more interesting part, at least to me.
He rides to heaven, shiny and chrome.
He genuinely believes that he is 100% innocent because he is the perfect person. He was born without sin. He controls the Sin Eaters. He was raised to believe that he is the ultimate hero. Why are these people attacking me? How can they not see that I am the hero? His perception of everything is just so warped that he remains a villain. He's never asking for forgiveness because he doesn't think he needs any, because he is constantly convinced that he's the hero. And that's so much more. That's so much more interesting than a bunch of people saying, "My daddy was mean to me."
Oh yeah, and if he was in the normal world, I wouldn't really respect him as much as I do. But seeing a character like this thrive in this world is really neat to me.
Sure.
I honestly love the first and how everything is twisted when you first get there, and having him as a villain is really neat. I really enjoyed his literal romp through the story.
Sure, that's fair.
All right, moving on to number 2 worst heroes. Who could it be, Mark?
Didn't you already say it, Dave?
No, it's Lise!
She's not fun.
What was her other name? I've forgotten.
Ida. Which was the real name of her older sister, who she decided to co-opt the identity of.
Was that storyline supposed to be more important than it actually was? Because that meant literally nothing to me.
Let me tell you, Dave, I don't care.
Me neither.
Let's move on.
Mark, you liberated this?
I liberated this.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Lise, I literally play as a Highland Hire. Like, I could probably just be from here. You could probably just say I liberated it. No, I liberated this.
She just kind of shows up, punches a few things, and takes all the credit.
That's about it.
Why
you
not?
You wonder why people hate her?
Well, yeah. Why not put Nagago in charge? She's clearly more experienced than you. She's clearly a better fighter than you. She clearly can lead people better than you. Why isn't Nagago charge?
She's clearly hotter than you. What?
It's the tail, right?
Yes. No, what? Anyway.
All she does is she shows up, she cries, and has a temper tantrum, and she's respected by everyone.
That's about it.
And yes, I get she fights with the soldiers, but everyone's fighting. She really does absolutely nothing. She just rides off the success of other people around her.
Yeah, no, I couldn't say this better myself. She is just... Yeah, she really does nothing, is nothing. Every one of her accomplishments is someone else's, and it's annoying. Because no one else seems to acknowledge this.
You deserve better, Robon. You deserve to rule that place.
No, he really did. He doesn't want it.
That's why he deserves it.
No, it would be a good fit for him. He deserves better.
That's more time than Lise deserves.
Anywho.
Moving on to number 2 for best heroes.
My girl.
Y'Stola.
Yay.
Y'Stola has been there from the start, and she is honestly out of the OG Scions and of the people that introduce you to the whole thing, she's easily the best. Yeah, clearly, and she's one of the only few still around.
That's wow. That's a you like to drive the stake in, don't you?
Yeah, right. Papolino's dead. Lise is off running a fucking country off of your success.
No, Ida turned out to be a lie.
Yeah.
And Thancred's doing his thing. He's probably never going to be the same.
Yeah. Neither is Y'Stola, honestly. She's probably going to go blind at some point.
I mean, she is blind, but she's relatively been the same.
I'm sorry.
It's very much the voice of reason, the voice of practicality in a lot of things.
Yeah, those eyes are taking off her life energy, so she's not just going to go blind. She's probably going to die one day.
That's a good thought, David.
Even fucking, what's her name? Montoya pointed that out to her.
Montoya. I think he's in Montoya. The great wizard.
My name is Wizard Montoya. You invaded my cave. Prepare to die. You must die.
Oh, it's good to see you. You must die.
You must. Oh, you went into my sacred library. Oh, you must die.
You must die. Anyway, that was stupid.
No, but she's very educated, but can be very brash with things.
She is very much the voice of reason and practicality in a lot of ways. But it's very easy for that kind of character to come off as cold and emotionless and distant. Y'Stola manages to be warm, friendly, affable, and genuinely always charming to be around, while still being ruthless under all of it.
I do love the scene where she can't even view you as you anymore. Where she almost attacks you, and it has to be pointed out that you're a friend.
It's like, boy, I'm really fucked, aren't I?
Or the scene where she asks Urianger to describe the sky to her because she can't see it anymore.
It's kind of heartbreaking.
Oh my god, I love this character. And her moments of levity, like, oh, I'm sorry guys, I think I did something quite foolish again, when she fucking throws herself into the live stream for the second time, excuse me.
You keep doing this, Ish. Some people are going to talk.
Oh god. Oh god, another scene, it's from Shadowbringers again, where she, what's his name? The guy throws her in the air when he's so happy to see her, and she just, like, squirrels up like a fucking cat.
I have news for you, David.
Yeah, cat detector, I know.
Yeah. No, but yeah, she's super fun. And actually a welcome addition to a team of otherwise kind of anime tropes.
Moving on to number 2 worst villains. Ilbred slops into battle!
This list is going to get more and more visceral as we go. Like, we've passed a point of just like, oh man, I just don't care for this person, too. I have vehemently fantasized about murdering and or having sex with these people.
Number 1 for heroes, especially. But moving on.
Do you want to say that harder into the camera?
Number 1 for hero. No. Ilbred. Oh my god.
Illbred. Yeah, you know what?
He's Ilbred.
He's Ilbred.
Oh, what a fucking incel.
What a fucker.
Alright, so here's why
you were the one who was sloppy.
So, people could have the argument that he's actually a good villain because he started the war and got exactly what he wanted.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. A successful villain is not a good villain.
Here is my counterpoint to that.
Fuck him.
He's the exact definition of the ends not justifying the means, because he was so focused on freeing his country That he doesn't care if there's any of his countrymen left to live in his country when he's done.
He is another example of just, I don't really care about anything besides revenge. He's just managed to call revenge liberation.
He is so fucking stupid that the only reason why his quote-unquote plan works is the fact that Xenos is such a useless leader that he lets the Resistance survive his attack because he thinks he might get an interesting fight at some point.
We'll get to that.
The only reason why Ilbred's plan works is because Xenos is useless as a leader, just as Ilbred is useless as a Resistance fighter.
Granted, I think Xenos would be the first person to say he's useless as a leader, but we'll get to that.
Oh, God. He murdered all of his comrades and people to summon a primal that would probably end up destroying his people if you weren't there.
If not the planet.
Oh.
And you know what? The worst part about it? He died thinking he was right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to bring him back. I need an Ascian to possess his corpse. I need to kill him again. And his boss fight has some of the most hilariously annoying dialogue.
Oh, sloppy.
Slobber!
Oh, God. Okay, we're almost through this, but first, let's do our honorable mentions.
Did we go through? Did we not do best villain? You keep forgetting best villain.
You're right, I did. Oh my God, I did it again.
Yeah, so now we do best villain at the last for number 2, then we'll do honorable mentions, then we do the one of worst heroes, best heroes, worst villains, best villains.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So,
I can't believe I had to remind you about the show, David.
Yes. So number 2 on the best villains, I would say, is Astidian and Nidhogg.
Together at last. two great tastes that taste great together.
They're basically the same person now.
Yeah, more or less.
Not only that, but they were raised to be the same person by each other's races, and I always found that really neat.
It's just dark half.
The very angry soldiers that had their family taken away from them when they were younger and became obsessed with revenge.
2 angry boys.
To the point where they don't realize, Astidian realizes it too late, but they don't fully realize that they just cause more suffering for their people by continuing the fight. They create more of themselves by just fighting.
Well, Astidian seems to realize this. I don't really think Nidhogg does.
That's what I said. Well, they both realize it at the end, but
Astidian... I misheard you then.
Yeah, they both tend to realize that. Astidian realizes right before he's taken over by Nidhogg, and they merge into one.
Mm-hmm.
But afterwards, when you realize that Nidhogg is still inside of them, they both feel remorse for what they've done, and they both try to destroy all the hurt the eyes have caused.
Someone at some point has that realization. Astidian at that kind of point kind of realizes, I'm about to be possessed by the Dragon Eye. You know what? Maybe this wasn't the best idea.
I do like the point that these characters are on separate sides, but they are exactly the same person, which is weird. I know I said the same opposite thing for Yusuyu and Fordola, but this one is actually done well.
Well, because so here's the thing: there's a lot of character traits and story beats that if you draw attention to it and say that was intentional, and here's the reason why, it's a good thing. It's a good inclusion into that story. If it's unintentional, it's a bad thing, and it can come off as just lazy. In the case of 2 characters being more or less the exact same, in the case of Yotsuyu and Fordola, it's because you decide to do the same story twice.
Yes.
In the case of Astidian and Nidhogg, it's meant to be, no one is right in this war. They're just different parts of the same person.
Yep.
And the war is equally destructive on both sides. That's the point.
I really, really enjoyed their story, and honestly, their fight feels like the true ending to Heavensward.
Yes.
Because the ending to Heavensward I always thought was a weird cop-out ending, but the end to that patch where you fight them feels like a true ending to what that story should have been. It doesn't feel full without it.
I feel like the final boss that we got versus the final boss was kind of a decision they may have struggled with.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, we'll get to
it. It felt more time related than anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on. Alright, so I'm going to do the honorable mentions right before we do the subject they're in.
Okay, that's fine.
So honorable mention for worst hero would be Miss You Don't Pay My Sub herself, Sylphie.
Which is only not on the list because I convinced Dave that not everyone would know this, because everyone here has been main characters in the story so far. This one is very much specifically to a class quest line. Having said that, I otherwise entirely agree.
She's horrible. She causes almost all the problems within the White Mage story. And the only reason why she doesn't cause all the problems is because she's not there at that moment in time.
For those who may have forgotten this character or just not know them because they don't play Conjurer or White Mage, Sylphie is a little girl who casts white magic, but instead of doing so through the will of the elements and general training, casts from her own life force. Mm-hmm. And instead of this being portrayed as a noble, self-sacrificing gesture, she is a horrid little cunt of a bitch.
Oh yeah.
Who screams at her instructor, telling her not to kill herself to heal people because there's better ways to do it, is yelling at him, "You don't pay my sub."
And also, she causes the death of a young child's mother by hiding the child from her master.
Sick.
It's such an awful story, and the fact that the warrior goes along with it is
the fact that, you know what, I'll say it, the fact that the warrior of light never slaps a child is a negative on their character slip.
Oh god. Alright, so moving on to the best of the worst heroes.
The actual worst hero. And
Heroes,
this is more of a personal beef. This is born out of God may be the worst quest line, I think, in the game.
No, fuck these guys. The Company of Heroes
suck.
Oh my god.
You know what? Let me summarize it in this theoretical, didn't quite happen, but basically did happen exchange. Hey guys, one of the primals, Titan, yeah, he's awakened. He's going to destroy a bunch of shit. I need your help on how you found him and how to beat him. Well, instead of us just doing that, let's just put you through several dungeons, multiple quest lines, and lie to you on multiple occasions before I give you literally no information on how to beat Titan.
That's basically it.
Yeah, that's basically it. I don't want to waste any more time on these people.
They are probably the reason why people fall off in A Realm Reborn.
This group, you know what? This is the reason they're the worst heroes. These ostensible allies cause more harm and personal pain to me than the villains.
Oh yeah. They make you go through an embarrassing amount of shit, so they can throw a fucking party celebrating themselves, and then oh yeah, just go kill Titan.
Good job, everyone. We beat Titan.
Just go here and kill Titan. You're fine.
Don't we go through a dungeon to get them party favors?
Cheese.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm pretty sure it was cheese.
Sick.
Don't quote me. I don't remember. I know I had to help the goblin, but I'm pretty certain he was searching for cheese.
To be fair, the dungeon is named after the goblin, so I'm assuming she owned the place.
Is it a she? I don't care. I do not care.
I somehow have stored that information that at some point they used female pronouns to refer to Brayflocks.
Fuck the Company of Heroes. Fuck everything they make you do, and fuck them for making A Realm Reborn such a meaningless slog to get through.
It really does take away from the game proper, and that's all the more frustrating.
They not only ruin the fucking story, they ruin the game for people. That's a whole nother level of bad.
Yes.
Oh. Anyways, moving on to honorable mention for best heroes, we have Papolino.
Yay, good boy Papolino.
The only reason why you didn't make this list is because we just didn't have room for you. You're perfect. Boo, don't change. Actually, I guess you can't anymore. Uh-oh.
It's more just he hasn't had enough time, and that's just because he
never will.
Poor boy.
Another honorable mention would be Haunted.
It's all right. Lise is spitting on his grave back home. With every breath she takes and every move she makes.
Another honorable mention I would say would be Haunted.
Wow, how is he not even higher?
Honestly, just not enough time and just not enough room. I like him as a character. Unfortunately, he just isn't in the game enough to make this list, I'd say.
He is there to die. The poor boy.
I want to get his emote. I found out you can, and I need it.
What emote?
He does this pose that only he has, where he brings his arms up the air like a heroic pose, and I'm like, I need that emote.
Oh, sick. I can't believe it wasn't in the game earlier.
It is in the game. I mean, it's behind this huge like side quest line that's not really marked.
Weird. Okay.
We have to go through it. It's long though.
Mm.
All right. So number one, best hero though, and this is going to be controversial because I've talked to people.
Because Y'shtola was only 2.
Alphinaud,
AKA the protagonist.
Yeah. I was about to say, AKA the main character.
You know what? I actually like that idea of having you have to have an MMO or an RPG where the player-controlled character that could be basically anyone and anything, but you want to have a straight-line story with a single protagonist that has a consistent character arc. So you just make him the most important and prominent ally, and you know what? At the very least, in Alphinaud's case, it works.
Oh, you mean Fire Emblem Awakening?
Yeah, I also like how that's done. Yeah, wow, okay, yeah, you know what? I'm finding I'm gravitating towards this trope.
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
It works.
No, but
I like not having the pressure of being the chosen one.
Alphinaud is basically, I would consider, to be your best friend throughout the story.
Whether you like it or not. And thankfully I do.
And honestly, I'd say he fucks up just as much as he succeeds.
It's the same. It is the same thing with Alizé. You need to have these two opposing personalities succeed and fail on equal parts.
The thing I like about him, though, is a lot of characters just stand around wondering what he should do. He usually just jumps on and say, "No, fuck you, this is wrong."
He's a good boy.
Even with Emmett Sulk telling him his sad story, he's just like, you know what? I understand your pain, but fuck you.
Hey, Hannibal, shut up.
He straight up becomes the leaders of the Scions.
Yep.
And even though he takes a back seat during Shadowbringers, I still love the fact he's along for the ride.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, he's just a solid overall protagonist. He just needs to get a little bit more experienced. He needs to stop being a main healer, and he needs to stop drawing porn.
Yeah. Redeeming qualities, to be sure.
Do you remember the?
I remember he offered to draw pictures, ladies' pictures of themselves. I remember that. Yes.
No, I think it was it's the description for the wind up Y'shtola toy, and it's like. When a line of wind up toys based on each of the Scions was commissioned, Master Alphinaud was very willing to donate numerous proportional sketches of Master Y'shtola, despite never being asked.
I do love the fact it did bring up his horny teenage years.
Buddy, you gotta stop. But
I completely forgot. He told fucking Voltry what a disgusting pile of filth he was when he saw him, didn't he? I completely forgot that exchange even happened.
Oh man, move him to 1+ on the list.
Oh god. I fucking love Alphinaud. I hope he stays having the story.
You know, I do normally dislike and this is not to say that Alphinaud is this, I usually dislike the anime protagonist that's just, they're socially awkward so they blurt out things. And boy, isn't it funny. Mostly because everyone seems to have an overreaction to it. The fact that Alphinaud, of all people, literally just says, "Boy, you're fat," to someone effectively, it's so goddamn, it's the best.
Oh,
so
and he, I don't know if you feel the way that I do, but I honestly hate the patch content for Stormblood. I love the dungeons it produced, but the story I think is horrible.
Okay.
But his one scene, his moment of him going off by himself, where the story follows him, is one of the highlights for me. I fucking love that.
I don't know if I love it really much. I think that's just giving it a bit too much, but I do enjoy that part.
Him, spurring his would-be enemies together to fight for survival.
Yeah, no, I enjoy that.
And teaming up with them to help, like, stop a horrible thing their country's about to... Oh, just everything about it is perfect. I love it.
He's a good boy.
Okay.
I'm glad to be sharing the protagonist spot with him.
Moving on. We're going to...
Don't worry, we will end on a high note, David.
Moving on to the honorable mention for worst characters is Varys. Varys?
Yeah, Emperor.
Emperor Varys. Van Gyvis, or whatever the fuck. The Emperor.
So, within the same vein of Mornberta, or however you pronounce that, nothing intrinsically wrong as a villain. He's just gone, and they didn't do anything with him.
Absolutely.
He's this kind of subversion would almost work if we got anything with him, and we replaced it with a villain I thought was interesting.
We got a trial of him after his death.
It's not enough, guys.
Yeah, you fight him in Sid's memories.
Mm-hmm.
And you see what a really great boss fight he would have been, and a really, really neat end to killing him. And that will never happen.
Boy, this would have been cool, right, guys? Anyway.
It was a neat little experience. It was a half an hour long dungeon. A solo dungeon.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Oh yeah, it's great. And at the end of it, you get a relic weapon.
Yay.
So, I mean, it was a great dungeon to play.
The dungeon itself is worth it. Not him, though.
Yeah, he was a really fun boss. It was a really neat fight. But again, is a fucking waste of potential, and I hate that.
Ugh.
But yeah, moving on to number one for worst villains.
And this is mainly because we're not through with him, and I can't believe it.
Xenos.
We lost Emmett Self for this? We lost Varys for this?
Oh, yeah. So, I didn't mind Xenos as a villain in Stormblood.
Mostly because my standards were lowered for Stormblood.
Yeah, he served a point. He gave us a chance for survival because of how inept of a leader he is.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, when we killed him, he should have stayed dead.
I am actually starting to get seriously sick of the trope of villain just wants a good fight.
Uh-huh.
Because it's almost never portrayed right, and it's also incredibly overdone even when it is.
See, here's the thing. I thought they were going somewhere interesting. I like the idea of Elidibus having the body of our former rival.
Yeah.
I thought that was neat. I like the idea of Xenos becoming a body-hopping leech. I thought that was really neat.
Well, it even would have been necessarily Xenos. It would have just been Elidibus.
Regardless of which. And then they immediately get rid of both of those fucking ideas just to have overpowered Xenos again.
It's just Goku but evil.
I fucking hate him. He is such
wet
blanket.
He's so goddamn boring. It's just going to be... You know what? There is a tiny little glimmer of hope that he's like at least going to have some kind of like nihilist philosophy after learning the whole truth of the Ascian thing. But I still don't care. I don't want him to be the main villain. For God's sake, no.
He's trying to kill not Xenos. Zodiark now.
Fun.
He wants to kill Zodiark. I don't know why. He just wants to do it.
Why don't you let him do it, guys?
I don't fucking know. I honestly hope he's not the villain of the next expansion. I really hope he's not.
Yeah. No, he is just so goddamn boring. There's little else to him. I really also don't like his design.
Honorable mention for best villain is Omega.
Yay! That was a super fun way of doing the whole raid boss dungeon thing.
It was really neat. It added a lot of creativity. It brought a lot of old Final Fantasy bosses back for a lot of fun boss fights.
My only criticism for Omega is when you actually fought them, they were just bishy anime villains.
Yeah, and Yoshi P hates that storyline, by the way.
Really?
He hates anything that breaks up the immersion, of the time period. Like, he hates all glamours that break the immersion of the game. He hates all mounts that break the immersion of the game.
So he hates just, hey, look, Final Fantasy VI villains.
Yeah, he hates Omega, even though Omega's the reason why Midgard Samir is on Earth in the first place.
Oh, well, that's not that great.
Oh,
well.
I'm pretty sure Omega destroyed Midgard Samir's home planet.
Yeah. Or one way around. I honestly forget.
Midgard Samir fought him. Midgard Samir barely won and was so injured he fled to Earth to birth his offspring and died temporarily. As he does.
I'm kind of spacing out during this because it's just an honorable mention that he's super fun.
Yes, he's a fun villain. But moving on to the best villain.
Gee, I wonder.
Who was only in one fucking expansion, but fucking stole the goddamn show.
To be fair, that's a fair amount of time. It's better than a patch.
Oh yeah, Emmett Sulk.
Put on the party music.
He's honestly easily my favorite Final Fantasy villain.
You might want to give me a minute to think about it, but yeah, I'd probably make that same claim.
The only reason why I make that claim is because I haven't played 6, but even if I did, I don't think I'd like Hefka better than Emmett Sulk. Emmett Sulk is just really fucking interesting to me.
It is very much... So there's a couple different degrees of villain. There's just out and out monstrous. There's idealistic and wrong. And then there's someone who, I get where you're coming from. I might do the exact same thing in your position. I can't let you succeed because you are literally anathema to me and my people. And Emmett Sulk is in the last one, and that makes for such an interesting villain.
He desperately wants to save his own people. And to do that, he must destroy yours.
He must destroy everything and anything.
And just, you see his loneliness, you see the struggles he's gone through.
He literally creates just this mystical, what I would say, basically a hologram of his entire civilization and what has been lost, just to cope with his own loneliness.
And he becomes from a good villain to an amazing villain in reverse. As you learn more about yourself and him, you find out that you were an Amortine, I guess we're calling it now.
So effectively all of the worlds as they are split up were once one world and one sort of people, and after everything was split up, the various souls of these original people were split across the worlds, so there are people with the same soul fragments that would have once belonged to the same person in these same worlds.
Yes.
Your soul in the original world was one of Emmett Sulk's closest allies and friends, probably the person who first summoned Heidelin. We don't know. That's a main theory.
Yeah.
He sees you directly better than anyone, and you may, unlike everyone else who may as well just be bugs to him, like you wouldn't even think about stepping on them. There's no moral to be had within his own mind. There's no morality for killing you because you may as well just not even exist to him. For you specifically, the player character, you may as well be an abomination.
He can't help but see his friend every time he looks at you.
And yeah, I guess that would give a guy a really good reason to want me dead.
Oh, throughout the entire thing, he is actively helping you dismantle his plans he set up. For a chance that A, either you can see things the way he does, or B, he can recreate you into what you once were and get his friend back.
And so even that whole question of, like, why don't you just try and live a new life among new people? The whole thing is apparently he did.
Yeah, he was an advisor to the, what's their fucking names? The Alligans.
Mm-hmm.
He was advisor to the Alligans, and he started the Garlean Empire.
He started the Garlean Empire, he had his son in the form of Solus, and maybe even for a second was like, you know what, maybe I could just do this. This is fine, Solus is cool. And then Solus died.
It wasn't Solus, it was Varus, wasn't it?
No, Varus is his grandson. Solus is his son. Solus was his son, and Solus died fairly young, while Emet-Selch continued to live on.
No, Solus is him. Varus is his son.
Hmm?
Yeah, his name was Solus when he was in Empire.
Maybe it was like Solus the Second.
I don't know.
But either way, the whole thing is like his main kid ends up dying, that he had with basically the other mortals, ends up dying young, reaffirms his belief that mortals are feeble, and basically the whole point is that him trying to just integrate and actually just be a normal person doesn't work out.
Mm.
I think I've basically said everything about him. He's just actually incredibly, he on top of just being a goddamn delight to observe every time he's on screen.
I do love how his final words to you are, "Remember us."
I've lost, and you know what? I did want the option. This is one of those times where I really wish this game had more dialogue choices and had any actual reaction to them. Because as much as I really do like Emet-Selch, and I think that's a really dramatic, a great last line, I did want the option to just whisper, "No."
Well, here's the reason why I like the line.
Mm-hmm.
I like the line because he is realizing that he's one of the last of his kind. They will die out, and he wants to live on in some way.
Yes.
Or you could view it. You could view this as many ways. You could view this as, remember what you once were. Remember what we were.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's such an amazing final line, and you can take it so many different ways.
It really is. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. He is a absolutely excellent villain that helped us get the whole story thing back on track.
I just hope it stays on track. But yeah, those are our best and worst villains. Holy shit.
Yeah, this ended up being a decent analytical podcast. I hope most of you are still around.
Yeah, right. I really enjoy this game. I really enjoy I just really enjoy the fucking trips that took me on. It's been a great experience, and I'm sorry that the patches are taking so long right now, and we probably won't really get an ending to the story anytime soon.
That's fine.
But holy shit, it's been a ride, and I hope it continues to be as good as it was.
Keep it profitable. It'll keep going.
So, Yoshi P has stated that Shadowbringers is given 80% of the story.
Okay, that's fine. You know what I want? I want one more expansion that's just kind of a side story of, well, okay, here, like, we have another thing to deal with, similar to Stormblood, and then the expansion after that is the actual finish of the story.
Well, I guess they're ending it soon, because they announced that they've come up with an ending.
Okay. Let's see how this goes. I'm pretty
sure it's the next expansion, or it's going to be, like, the next expansion is going to finish most of it, and then the patches or whatever, but...
Well, see, here's the thing. You say the main story is ending.
The main story as in Zodiac Heidelin story, he said.
Yeah, that doesn't mean the game is ending.
Oh,
This game doesn't end until it starts hemorrhaging money. And it's probably... I would want to check the numbers. It might just be the second most popular MMORPG in the world besides WoW.
Here's the thing, though. I don't want the Heidelin Zodiac story beyond the next expansion. If we're going to do Heidelin Zodiac for one more expansion like we've been doing, I want it to end.
Yeah, no. I'd rather have, like I said, which is we have like a breather expansion, I guess, which is just some other storyline that kind of doesn't relate and everything else is on hold. Or I want it to end in the next patch. Yeah, I only want one more expansion of that, whether it's the next one or the one after it.
I want it to be this one, and they have already come out and said that this is going to be the last expansion for this storyline.
That is fine.
Oh, but yeah, so thanks for joining us, guys. If you saw the PS5 announcement, I'm sorry.
Wow, I didn't actually. I don't know what's happened.
You might like it. You might like one game that came out for it.
What's that?
A reboot to Demon's Souls.
I'm skeptical. Demon's Souls, as I remember it, was all of Dark Souls jank without any of the sense of accomplishment.
Yeah,
without any of the charm in the world.
I guess they're redoing the whole thing. So
okay, let's see.
Another chance for Demon's Souls. I wasn't really excited for anything that the PS5 had to offer, and they didn't give us any information on pricing. So
you don't schlep around the shitpost Crusaders subreddit. I do, and I just send you the gold ones.
Oh yeah. I love the memes that are coming from it. For Christ's sake, I love those.
Yeah, but a lot of them were just that part. Any part from JoJo where someone was trying to tell the secret of another person's stand, but it's just replaced with JoJo. The PS5 starting price is Salvador.
Nani?
Shigechi at the door, like, I gotta tell Josuke, I gotta tell him this PS5 starting price is...
Oh, God.
It's the worst, and the best.
So I figured this should be the start of Season 3, because we're not getting the EA, obviously.
EA?
Yeah, this was essentially the PS5's... Sony EA.
EA, huh?
Oh, sorry, E3.
Oh,
If only we weren't getting an EA, but anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, this is basically E3, just the Sony announcing PS5, and there's nothing
Xbox doing a thing later.
Yeah, there was nothing interesting enough to talk about, I don't think.
I didn't really see it. I heard a bunch of stuff, but nothing.
Hey, GTA 5 will be free if you pre-order it. Yay!
I played through that game 5 times.
Have you?
Yes.
I played through it once and called it enough.
I played... Babe. I'm sorry. No. Yeah, it is kind of depressing to see those, like, those previews of, like, hey, like, in this span of, like, 5 years, they released 4 games. Okay, Bethesda released, like, all the Elder Scrolls series over this few number of years. Rockstar released all these GTAs. Okay, it's been, like, 10 years, and we're still doing multiple iterations of Elder Scrolls 5. It's been like 8 years, and we're still releasing GTA 5 for shit. I know you guys. I know you guys have 6 in the works, but it's guys. If Valve can't count to 3, you can't count to 6.
Oh, I get that, but as the time goes on, it's probably harder and harder to make these fucks. You know.
Sure, but Todd,
maybe this time they can actually.
Todd, you're not. I believe more that you're going to release Skyrim 5 for a TI-83 calculator before you release 6.
Hey, Mark, I know. You know, maybe this time they'll release a finished product.
I don't trust that. Though granted, Rockstar... You know, Rockstar is on my shit list for an exact other reason, which is, please don't kill your employees while making this game. Red Dead Redemption 2 is fucking phenomenal. Don't kill people over it. I don't need people to work 100-hour work weeks for my cowboy for my Rudy Tooty point and shooty cowboy game.
If we're being honest, they probably could have worked on a little less.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit in there that people literally have to dig to find.
Oh. But yeah, thanks for...
Guys, I don't want to think about someone spending weeks upon weeks of their lives not seeing their children and their families to work on the horse's ball physics.
Mwah! Good night, everybody!
Yeah, you know what? I think this is going to be my legacy.
Alright, peace out, guys. Thank you for joining us. It's been an amazing 2 years.
Amazing, he says.
It's been really fun. I really enjoyed doing this.
For the podcast, yeah, the rest of the world is burning down around us.
Oh, no, fuck the world at this point. The podcast is all I care about anymore.
Woohoo!
Alright, peace out, guys.
Goodbye.